Om. 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 Sairam, everyone. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week, I think the topic which we were discussing was that related to there are no obstacles based on one's stage of life, one's gender, one's varna, and so on. And that's what Krishna had told Arjuna, that we should think of him incessantly. And through that process, we will be able to reach him. And I think there were various topics which we discussed. Related to that, I will ask sisters to continue from where we left off. I think the discussion was going on past the time. Ananya Chinta was one of the topics, I guess. Saira.
But the ashrama dharma and the varna dharma, the codes of moral conduct prescribed for the castes and for those in the 4 stages of life, student, householder, recluse, and monk, do not hinder in any way the discipline of fixing the mind on God, or of purifying the mind of evil, or worshipping the Lord through all one's actions, words, and thoughts. The distinction of sex or caste or status or stage of life affect only those who live in the awareness of the body as reality and who act as if the world is absolute and eternal. At this, Arjuna said, Krishna, the contemplation of the formless, characteristicless, nirguna nirakara is very difficult, is it not? For those with deha bhranti, or identification of the self with the body. The worship of the formful aspect of God, which is within the reach of the ordinary man, can this yield purity of mind, purity of the inner instruments of consciousness? Please enlighten me.
Thank you, sister. So, we are still continuing to discuss the Ananya Chintana, how to have that, and Arjuna's question about Saguna, attribute-less form, whether we have to pray to, or whether form with attribute, and Krishna is clarifying. So I will stop here. If there are any thoughts, comments anyone has to share, please do so. Saira. I guess if everyone is okay, maybe we'll move on. Then we are going to chapter 21, if I remember correctly.
Arjuna, people think that the worship of God with form and attributes is quite enough. This discipline will only be of some help. It will guide the person along the road only for a little while. For the Lord will not condescend to grant liberation for just this. For he who aims at liberation must first give up the attachment to the body. Without that, the Atmic stage cannot be attained. The identification with the body is the expression of ignorance. The Atma must be recognized as distinct from the Prakriti, the nature. The craving for objective pleasure, which is based on the unreal value attached to Prakriti, has to be removed by dhyanam and tapas. When that craving is lost, the individual becomes like the dry nut inside the coconut shell, which becomes loose and unattached both to the shell and the fiber outside it. it does not germinate or sprout again. It will remain forever without being spoiled. The individual has no more birth and consequent death. That is to say, he will be liberated. Becoming like the dry nut inside the shell is the stage called Jivan Mukta, or liberation while alive.
Thank you very much, sister. I think we have to read the Telugu because Auntie does not have the copy, so I will attempt to read and try to translate. Hopefully, unless Sai Satish, you would volunteer to translate. And Auntie will, of course, chip in and help us.
Anna, it's better. I will not attempt this one. Sorry.
Okay.
I know.
It's okay. Both of you can do that. Arun can do it.
I'm a bit foolhardy and Sai Satish is not. That's all.
There is no, I don't think, you will all do it. You will all do it. I know.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Arjuna, Sagunopasana Sulabhamani Lokulu Talanturu. So, Krishna, Auntie, you will translate?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll try. People think that Sagunopasana, that is the God with attributes, can be meditated upon. People think it's very easy.
Kani adi antati satyamu kaadu.
It's not true.
Adi asatyame agunu.
Oh, he calls that it is asatya, it is untruth.
Indriya samyamamu kaluga varaku. Indriya samyamamu kalugu varaku. Anaga prarambha sthitiyandu sagunopasana konta todapadunu.
Yeah, before we Indriya Sanyama and the control of the senses until it is achieved, it will be useful for Sagunapasana is useful for a meditator.
Prarambha sagunopasana.
And it is in the beginning stages. It's the beginning stages. Sagunapasana is good.
Darini chupunu.
It will show the path.
Antiye.
That's all.
Anta matramuche aradhana daivamu anugrahinchi muktini andinchadu.
It will not give complete liberation with the what is it?
Anta matramuche.
Only with the Sagunapasana, you cannot attain liberation.
Atti muktini ponda goruvaru modata.
Those who wish for that such liberation,
modata dehabhimanamu vadala velanu.
First they have to give up the attachment to the body.
Atula kanide atmasthiti kalugadu.
Without that that atmic state cannot be attained.
Dehabhimanamu avidya rupamu.
It's only our ignorance which is expressed as attachment to the body, or identification with the body.
Atma prakriti nundi veru kavalanu.
Atma must be recognized as separate from prakriti, that nature.
Daniki dhyana.
1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Here, prakriti here means Atma is different and the body is different. That's what Swami
I think nature of the Atman has to be separately cognized.
Okay.
The nature of Atman and the nature of the body
nature of the body
has to be differentiated, I think. That's
distinct. It is quite distinct.
Yes. Daniki dhyana tapassulache anta karanamulandu gala vishya vasana nasincha valanu.
Through dhyana and tapas, that vishaya vasana, the attachment to all the objective pleasures should be removed. Should be removed by tapas and dhyana.
అది నశించిన తోడనే కొబ్బరి కురిదీలు మరల పీచుతోను చిప్పలతోను చేరనట్లు.
When that wishing for objective pleasures is lost, you will become like a coconut inside the shell, which is not attached to the fiber outside or to the shell in which it's formed. Koparakai.
తిరిగి మొల కట్టెనట్లు ఎంత కాలమైనను చెడకుండునట్లు జీవుడు జన్మ మరణముల బారి నుండి వేరై మోక్ష సిద్ధి నుండి చలించుట ఉండదు.
Okay. That coconut will not sprout again when it is completely attached from the outer fiber as well as from the shell, and it will remain without being spoiled for a long time. We have all experienced it, because the coconut, that koppare which you bring, it will remain without being spoiled for a long time. So the individual, just like that, he will not have any birth or death, and finally he will be liberated.
దీనిని జీవన్ ముక్తి యొక్క స్థితి అని అందురు.
Swami compares this to this Jivan Mukti, that is Kopparakai.
Liberated while alive. Yeah.
Analogy. And it's Jivan Mukti, the liberation while alive. While living, he attains that Mukti is called Jivan Mukta.
I think that's all we have read.
Yeah, we have done it.
So Sairam everyone. So Swami is telling us that, we may think that praying to the attributeful form is easy. But Swami says it is only in the early stages until we give up the Deha identification of Vishya, the sensory pleasures. Senses are controlled or sublimated completely. Until then, it is useful. And it will show us the way forward. So that's what Swami is saying. Yes, Sister Narmada, go. You have to unmute, and otherwise it will be like attributeful worship.
Sorry. So here, when Arjuna asks about, if worshipping to the form or formlessness, right? And Swami is, like you mentioned, that Swami is going, then instead of, like, when answering that question, he's going on about, us giving up the attachment to our body first. So is it, for me to understand, like, he's not, like, he's saying that, yes, praying to the form is good, but then formlessness is where you will get liberation. But in order to get to be able to pray to the formlessness, we need to form detachment first. Until and unless we get to that level of detachment, we are not going to be able to pray to the formlessness. Is that how we should take it? Sorry, if you could explain that a bit.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I will open it up for others too. I think maybe I'll just make a remark, because Arjuna is asking a question from Krishna. Krishna, in the previous last paragraph, Arjuna is telling, oh Lord, isn't it difficult for people who are, engaged in this world to worship the formless form? That's what he's asking. And then Krishna is answering that. So here he's saying, you may think that it's easy to attain the Lord through Sagunopasana, but he says that it's only useful in the initial stages until you overcome the body attachment, body identification.
That
I
is
think
us.
so.
Right, us. Yeah, okay.
Yes, I think that's my understanding, but I will open it up for others.
The greatest obstacle for Nirguna Upasana is no body attachment. When we have the body, we think that we are doing the worship, we are doing the bhajan, we are doing the namasmarana. That often it comes to us saying that I am doing it. That until that kind of attachment is completely detached from us, Nirgunapasana is impossible. Swami says Nirgunapasana is the first step. Go through it and then develop that kind of concentration and detachment to your body. So only then you can think of Nirguna Upasana. Saira.
Saira Mati.
Sairam, isn't that little bit contradicting what Lord Krishna said before took Arjuna? Arjuna asked which form you really like, and the Lord Krishna indicated that I have no likes or dislike.
Yeah.
Whichever the way you wanted to go, maybe whichever the way the devotees they wanted to go, I am fine with any path. But now Lord Krishna is saying that even you choose the path, maybe the upasana with form, that may not reach the destination you wanted to have it, kind of. I know previously we studied, it's like stages, different stages. And I thought maybe 2-3 paragraphs before we discussed about Lord Krishna's Upadesh to Arjuna. And in that one, Lord Krishna indicated, I like both way, maybe some of us, we will think about, I really like the Upasana with form, to praying form, with Swami or any god, and I will achieve my destination with that one. Suddenly now, in the maybe closer to the end of Bhagavad Gita, Swami says that, or the Lord Krishna says that, we have to still, even though this would be the initial stage, and still we should go to the dhyana and dabas to reach the ultimate destination. Maybe I thought it's kind of a little bit contradicting. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, sister, thank you. Anyone else would like to say? Sairam, Sai Satish.
Yeah, Sairamana. So I'll just attempt here with the understanding that when we go with the form, whether we take Rama, Krishna, Swami, anybody that we worship to or we adore, our in terms of what we adore in that form is also restricted by that form, and it also defines a relationship with that form. So in my understanding, if we have to relate to the formless, then we have to become less of our form, in the sense that when the small I dissolves, then what remains is the capital I. And that capital I is not restricted again to having a form, but is formless, in the sense it becomes Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or literally the Vishwarupa Darshan, what we had also discussed earlier, because it is now not just seeing one person as God, like Rama, Krishna, or Swami, or anybody that form, but seeing everyone as God, where now when I see that formless, I am relating it to the Vishwarupa Darshan, where not just one form we relate to. And that's where Swami is saying, when we go to seeing everybody as God, so we are not restricted again in that formless sense, in that say that we do not say that only I am a devotee of this particular Lord or form, in that aspect, it becomes completely formless because we are not restricted. Though, of course, we treat everybody, whether it is any living or non-living being, as God, which ultimately gets us to the state of being one with everything, which is nothing but mukti. So, as much as the form initially gives us the basic level of getting on the path of spirituality, to go beyond, we see that form enshrined in every other form, and then which makes it in total formless, which brings about the union of the individual self with the higher self. Sarah.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to comment? Sairam Sister Maha, please go ahead. We can't hear you, Sister Maha. We can't perceive any attributes, sister. We can see the form. You're Sakara, but you're good.
Still can't hear.
Sakara Nirguna.
So we'll go to Gopalan, Uncle Gopalan, until Sister Maha figures out. Uncle Gopalan, please go ahead.
Sairam, whether you're going for the formless or for the form, you still need to go through detachment process. You know, this is a fundamental thing. And that is what Krishna is saying. You know, whether whichever, we have also have the 9 forms of worship, you know. So all of them, there is emphasis is on detachment. So unless there is detachment, you cannot go anywhere in any, be either way. Okay. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Thank you.
Sairam.
Yes, Auntie.
Okay. Regarding Anandi's confusion, what she is saying is there's a contradiction in Swami's declaration. That's what she is saying. First he said, I like both Sakara and Nirakara. Now Saguna Brahma and Nirguna Brahma. I like both, he said. Now he is saying it's best is Nirguna. Nirguna Brahman Upasana is the best, he says. But Anandi, Sister Anandi, you have to have certain stages, you know, where we reach. First, and for everything, the first requirement is detachment from the body. Second requirement is dhyanam and tapas, whether it is nirguna upasana or saguna upasana. Both are very necessary. Swami is saying saguna upasana can be a step or the path or the way forward to reach nirguna. Don't stop with saguna Brahman upasana. Ramakrishna. When we start as Sai Satish, we are limiting the whole divinity to a form. He is limitless, Sarva Vyapaka. He is everywhere. He is omnipresent. And so what we have to, the second step will be to go through that Sagunopasana that will create a concentration of your mind and one-pointedness. It gives you a certain basic foundation for you to move further. Then you reach such a stage where you are able to recognize divinity in everyone. That is Nirguna Upasana itself. There is nothing special. There is nothing special as Nirguna Brahman is there. When we start recognizing divinity in everyone, in everything, what is manifested, what is unmanifested, then it becomes a Nirguna Upasana. That's what I have understood. If I am wrong, please correct it. Arun Sairam.
Sairam, Auntie, Sairam. Auntie Saku, please. Thank you. Sairam, Auntie.
To go along with Auntie Bhashyam, that this is, when we have to be careful. When you start praying to form, there also you should not get attached to the form and try to differentiate. Oh, I like only Rama, I don't like Shiva, I don't like Brahma. Like that, if you start discriminating, then you're lost. So in the form also, you should try to recognize the divinity in those forms. Then only you can slowly go into Nirguna. You will be able to see Baba's form, like how Sai Sadi said, you see Sai form in all the creation. In that way, you can become more open-minded, and you're seeing divinity in all. So from even the form, you pray to the form, you have to be very careful. You pray to the divinity in those forms and not attached and try to discriminate with other forms. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Sister Maha, are you able to talk now? No, I don't think it's happening. Anyone else?
Sairam.
Yes.
This is Hanuman. Swami says Hanuman and Krishna was there. He didn't come and help. So he's attached to the Saguna Vasana. Is the form of Lord Rama's form. Hanuman attached to that.
So I think Sister Brother Yokuman asking, is Hanuman attached to the form of Rama? Is that falling into this category of Saguna Upasana? I think that's the question, brother.
Yes, because he didn't come and help in the Krishna, or that Swami said, Hanuman didn't come and help the Mahabharata 4 because of he attached the form of Rama. He didn't come and see Krishna.
Yes, brother. Thank you. So, Brother Yokumaran also has posed a question, a statement and a question that, if being attached to a form, how does that fit here with this, discussion? Is it Nirguna Upasana or is it Saguna Upasana? Was it too attached to the form? Because I think because we are discussing about attachment to the form, I think that's where the question comes. So that means he is also not attaining mukti, or has he not attained? Thank you.
Liberation.
Liberation, yes.
Sairam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, at last, yes.
My question is a little bit different. Like in here, we are talking about the form and the formless. So we are discussing, but some religion, even the childhood, they pray like a formless. So how do they focus on formless without the form? I mean, Hindus, we used to pray Krishna, Rama, and Swami, Muruga. So many idols we have, but some religion, they have nothing in their temple or mosque or anything. Even the children, they pray. So how can they focus?
Thank you very much, sister. So if anyone who is here who can help us, how you all are focusing on the formless, is the question from sister. If anyone here who is praying to the formless, you may be able to give some answer to Sister Maha. because she is interested in knowing how are the people, how are those who are praying to the formless being able to concentrate? How do they concentrate? I think that's the question.
In
Maybe
here, Swami saying that, like we are no, we had to practice first the form in order to get, then body detachment. Then we are going to, pray the formula. Then we can get liberation. So my question is, the other religion, the small children, they don't know anything about this one. What are they doing? What Swami, said about those. Swami saying that, it's easy for you to, do the form first, then in order to get the formless. But how about other religion? My question. I don't know if Swami ever mentioned anything about here.
Good question, sister. We will discuss.
Jaku Auntie's hand is up, is it?
No, this is for the other one, Hanuman story. Hanuman. I think and I feel.
Okay, we'll lower Auntie's hand. Yes, Brother Thasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So we have to understand the Lord doesn't matter, any Lord doesn't have form. Because to educate us only, the Lord has taken avatar with a form. Lord is everywhere, within you, within, around you, up. Last time also we mentioned we are going to some spiritual places. Don't think that God is over there. Even if you go to Puttaparthi, that the reason we are going to Puttaparthi, that is the place Swami was there and he gave the discourse and he walked on the places. You feel like to have the divinity where he lived and he talked, he walked. That environment had the spiritual thinking and it can be motivate us. But Lord is everywhere. Even you can focus on stone or tree or another person. But you surrender everything. So I'm saying, just for the beginning, we have to have the form in order to concentrate, and we have to do all the spiritual thing. Once you understand yourself who you are, after that you don't need that one. Until that, we have to whatever the form is all Lord, the whole universe. Whatever you see, everything is part of Lord. That if we have that understanding, then there won't be any misunderstanding with form and formless. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yes, Sister Ananthi.
Sairam, for Sister Maha's question, I think that even some children, they wouldn't have mother. Maybe at the time of the birth, the mother would have they passed away, or they never seen their mother in their life. But still, without knowing the form, still they have their focus on their mother. For their entire life, they would be having their mothers in their focus. That's why the form, even for some people, without form, they can really focus on. That's why maybe Sister Maha, I know which faith she is referring. That's why they are telling that their religion is a more evolved religion. Without having any form worship, they go directly to the formless worship. Maybe the children, children, they are used to that, or maybe they are very they can concentrate in the prayers and everything into the formless way of prayer. And if I am the one, from my infancy or childhood, if I start praying that way, I think that wouldn't be any hindrance or any, I wouldn't find any obstacle, in order to focus my prayer on the God, I really wanted to, have it. Maybe that, in my humble opinion, that's not an issue at all, maybe for us, maybe we, from the childhood, we have we have used to that, to get a god or goddess picture and praying that one without form. If we are meditating or then that should be fine. That too, that's my humble opinion. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else? Yes, Sister Shivani.
I will try. I have Muslim friends and I ask them this question, that when you pray, is it easy for you? I mean, what do you concentrate on? And the answer I got is, it's not easy, Shivani. It's we just recite whatever prayers we have to do. But if you're asking, it's a form, but it's not easy to concentrate mind on. So what we are concentrating is on whatever we are reciting. That's the answer I got from one of my Muslim friends, though we have trained from the childhood, but we are more concentrating on what we are reciting, right? Yes, we should reach to the point where not just concentrating on the words we are reciting, it's more to the different level. So that's the answer. But coming back to all the discussion, what I'm thinking, how I interpret all this discussion is, you start with a form, we start slowly, and then control your senses, then start every act you give, you surrender to your Lord. I mean, reaching to that level that every act you're doing, you are surrendering to God. And then eventually reach to the point, as Brother Sai Satish said, the small I dissolve in the big I is like Hanumanji, or maybe Gopikas and Radha, where they didn't see that Krishna has left, maybe, I don't know, Dwarka or Vrindavan, because they were able to see Krishna everywhere, everything, in rivers, in stones, in trees. And with Hanumanji is when Sita Ma gave him the garland of pearls, he was looking, where is Lord Rama? Because he couldn't see Lord Rama in materialistic things. He's just exists everywhere. Like, that's my interpretation, that he is everywhere. He is in everything. So you don't separate yourself, that big I. You are evolved. So there is no question of, the form or the formless. I don't know if I explained, but that's how I understood. To reach to that level where you dissolve and everything is beautiful, everything is fine, everything is God. Good, bad, ugly. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you very much, sister. Uncle Gopalan, please go ahead.
Sairam, I'm recalling the episode of Kabir, Sant Kabir. And he was always thinking about Rama. And when the time came, and actually Rama came to him, and he was asking, who are you? Rama said, I am Rama, you are worshipping. And Kabir was saying, I see Rama everywhere. So the person could be worshipping the formless part of your God. So even when we go to the center or anything, there is a picture of Swami, but you are looking all over the place and you're following the singing. So concentration can come in many forms, not just looking at the murti or a photo, or it could come from bhajans. And even in our chanting, it says God comes in the form of a mantra. So there is the formless. We are all doing it, but we are not realizing it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uncle. Thank you. Yes, Dasan.
Yes, Sairam, I'm not taking much time, brother. Even if we take the Ramakrishna Paramatma, when he goes to the Samadhi stage and he'll come back, then when he come back, he started to do the regular pujas and all the bell system and everything. Then people ask, you already gone to Samadhi stage, why you are doing this one? Then he said, when I come to this real world, this worldly place, I have to do the same spiritual, otherwise I may lose the track. So for that, even Swami is not here. How many people are going to say Swami is not Puttapati? Before we thought, some people thought only Swami is in that particular form only. But most of the people, 99% of the people, they know he is within our house everywhere. But we focus in order to have our love and everything. That's the reason we have the form. So when you started to understand and everything, that takes some time. Then you can pray. Most of the people will pray formless, and with the form also. So we cannot avoid both. And if you want to go to the formless entire thing, then you have to go a little bit of advanced. You have to understand the spiritual. You have to surrender everything. Then you will see the difference. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Yes, Sai Satish.
Hi, Ramana. So for the two questions, so one in the case of the other faiths, which go with the formless aspect, there's always, in addition to what Sister Shivani mentioned, in addition to their chants, they also have their stories of prophets and other happenings that have come down the centuries. So for them to focus on values of love and righteousness, it may literally not translate as Satya Dharma Shanti Prema Ahimsa, but in the essencing God in those values and how that God translated into action by several of these prophets that have come down to the stage could possibly be one of the ways they connect to that formless aspect, because at the end of the day, it is the absolute formless, which is like the ocean, and the cool breeze of the devotee's love crystallizes that ocean into a particular iceberg or some shape, what we call an avatar, and they come and they bestow that joy and then go back into that aspect of the formless ocean. So for them to essence that love, they can still essence it in their own way. And that's how in several of these other religions, we have people who have, we know Ramakrishna Paramahamsa himself, who has gone through each of those faiths. He has practiced each of those faiths and has experienced God through going through all of those austerities and things laid out in those religions. So that way, it is, of course, that is very evolved soul who could do that. But for the people in those religions, maybe they have several of these stories and things to hold on to, values. So that is one thing. And coming to the Hanuman question that was raised by brother, I think Hanuman was very clear when he said to Lord Rama, Deha Buddhya, at the level of the body, Dasoham Kosalendra. I'm the servant of Lord Rama. At the level of the mind, he says that it is Jivatma and Tavaivaham. That's what Lord Hanuman says. He says, I clearly know that I'm the Jivatma and you're the Paramatman. And then when it goes at the level of the self, there is no difference between you and me. It goes from Tavaivaham to Twamevaham. Like it's just I and you are one. So Hanuman in that level was absolutely clear. But in the context of the story where Krishna and Rama comes, several of these aspects depend on what stage of the devotee is at that point in time when even Bhagawan is giving the discourse. So for many of us, when we are starting at that level of the primary level of education, absolute obedience and absolute focus is needed on one form. And that's where the aspect of holding on to how Hanuman held on, that aspect is brought out. But if we dwell a little more deeper into Hanuman's life, he was absolutely clear that there is, at the level of the Atman, there is no difference between him and Lord Rama. So the aspect that is invoked to tell the audience at that point in time what it means for obedience, what it means for clarity, what it means for having just that single pointed focus, even as we start, that is where I see that story's relevance come. But we know that Hanuman is Chiranjeevi. He's even wherever we take the name of Lord Rama, he's there. That doesn't mean if somebody takes Lord Krishna's name, he's not there. Kind of. Whoever calls out with devotion, obviously the Lord is there. But at the end, the stories are put forth to a point based on what stage of matureness or what stage of the journey each devotee is as well, when Swami addressed or brought out that story. Sairam.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Thank you. This is Shivani.
Just the last thing to add to this discussion, you know, how I am seeing is you start with form where you are showing your love to God. I love you, and that's where you need his form. But when you shift your mind from what am I doing to please my God, then you don't need that form, because you are more concentrating within yourself rather than outward. But when I say I love my God, you're saying outwards. But what am I doing to please my God? You go inward and then the form goes away. That's how I, looked into.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, sister, you have answered, the question. Form goes away, you said?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, you don't concentrate on that form. You're more going inward on your act, on your feeling, on your thinking. So it's more going inward rather than outward.
Okay, thank you, sister. Sister Aruna.
Brother, there's two things I just want, I don't know whether, just to, I don't know, my statement, my understanding is right. Hanuman is concentrating on the name only, not the form, because he is behind of the name, right? When even the pearl was given by the Sita, brother, he was not hearing Rama's name. That's why he's throwing that pearl out, right? Now, he's not in the looking on to the form. He's looking really into the name side. And that is one thing I can say. So there itself, he has confirmed that name is, he's concentrating, not the form. So when you really come to a level as a Visvarupa Darshanam that we have learned before, once you started to see in a divinity in everything, the form, you will see everything as God, then you want, the form is not matters at that point of time. And just only the name comes to, that's the name we have to remember. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, sister. Just a question, sister. Is the name is also an attribute. So when we go beyond name and form, formless and attributeless, should we go beyond the name? Sister, if you
Sorry,
don't
then the Hanuman didn't go beyond the name, brother?
No, yeah, that's why I'm asking.
I that's the thing I wanted to clarify to you. So
Okay.
Hanuman didn't go beyond the name then? Because I mean the name is more than the form. Hanuman was concentrating on the name only. But so I'm trying to understand, did he go beyond the name?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sai.
Just okay. Brother Dasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. The reason is form is important. If we take Hanuman, the bhakti is important. Just the name itself not enough, because you have to do the Swami's work in order to bring up the love. So without the form, how are you going to build up the love? You say Lord has 6 attributes. So you want it to be like that God, then only you can practice, and that important thing is love. So you have to pray the form. For an example, Hanuman went to Sri Lanka to look for Sita. Then he heard some Namasvaranam, and he was looking at. Then he was so surprised. What is this country? That some people are doing Namasvaranam too. Then he found out the Abhisanan. So he was doing the Namasvaranam. He said, Namasvaranam not enough. You have to do the Swami's work. Lord, please come out and search for Sita. So same thing, we have to focus the form also, and we have to do the Swami's work. In order to do that, we have to concentrate the form and to bring the love and the bhakti. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Yes, Sister Anandi.
Sairam, regardless of which path we take, my understanding from Mani Auntie's and Uncle Kobalan's the explanation, I got that sort of the clarification. Regardless of which path you take, detachment and the one-pointedness are very important. The division of form, the focus with form, focus without form, that is for our our preference or the way we wanted to have it. But God doesn't have any different way of treating. That's why Lord Krishna said, I don't have any likes or dislikes about the form or without form, the focus. Now I clearly understand that all these divisions are for our own convenience and the way we wanted to do. But God doesn't have that sort of different treatment for those people. They take a different path. The important thing, we should have the detachment and the one-pointedness. If we have those two, and it will take our the aim to the destination, and that's what I got it from all the the beautiful discussions we have had. All they brought up that the little point, and I took it from them. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sister. Very nice. Any other thoughts?
I have a question here. May I ask, or we are still continuing?
Yes, you can ask, sister.
Okay. So when we say this line, removed by dhyanam, understood, tapas. I think I'm struggling with what is tapas.
Okay, so we're going to the next question. Maybe we will just
We can hold back.
Yeah, I mean, I think just so that everyone is happy with the discussion, and then we will address your question, sister. I think Sister Ananthi has nicely summarized, distilled, I think, from all the discussions. See, the Arjuna asks the question. I think we should go back to the previous chapter, where Arjuna is asking this question. Now, Krishna, all of us who are active in this world, for them it will be difficult to fathom the follow the nirguna path, attributeless path. So Krishna is giving an answer. The translation here actually doesn't do justice to what was said in Telugu. Swami is saying, don't think it is easy. You may think that it is easy, the form full is easy, but it is not so. Swami is saying it is asatyam. That is asatyam. Actually, Swami makes a statement, it is asatyam. That means it is not truth, not the real truth. It is not, it is, people, you may think it is satyam, but it is asatyam. So those are actually, those three sentences are not fully translated in the English. So from that, what Krishna is trying to do is he's trying to clarify Arjuna's understanding of what he thinks is formful, with form and without form. Because he's saying, because all of us think, we are focusing on the Lord because we have a picture of Swami. So we may be thinking we are actually praying with focus. Swami is pointing out, you are not praying. You may be thinking, we think, people without, how are they focusing? Without form, how are they focusing? We may wonder, but then Swami is saying, you are also struggling with the form also. So I think that's what Swami is trying to point out. And then actually Swami is giving the answer also. In the sense, Swami says you have to distinguish the Atman from the Prakriti. That was a statement which Swami made in the first paragraph. And then he goes on to explain that in the second paragraph, where he says we should become like the coconuts. Actually, most of the children who are born here are coconuts only. But
good observation.
Here the coconut means something else.
But no, actually it's the same thing, Auntie. Because externally, if we focus without forgetting the internal, that's the problem. Inside we are something outside something else. We have to separate it out. But the thing is, Swami says we should become a Jivan Mukta, which is basically, even within the shell, the kernel should separate and become a copra. It should be, dried up, so it will last forever. So the thing is, basically, Nirguna Upasana is nothing other than separating the kernel from the shell. So what Swami wants us to say, when we go Nirguna Upasana or Nirakara Upasana, don't narrow, restrict it, the Lord to the form, restrict. But he's not saying give it up. Understand, but understand that it stands separate. I think, which is what everyone, I think Sister Shivani herself said, I look at the form when I forget the form also. When I go within, I forget the form. And my focus is something, and which is what the gopis did. And I think which is what Hanuman also did. Hanuman was able to understand that there's an Atmic principle within the form which he loves as a human being to pray. So and Swami has in other places also said, as long as the mind is incapable of visualizing the formless and the attributeless, mind is completely incapable. If the mind just comes to a stop, then we'll be able to experience. We can only experience the formless and attributeless, but we can't even focus. But to do that, now we will come to the topic of dhyana and tapas. Dhyana is so that the mind becomes calm and quiet by just focusing on the form and the name. There is a nice discourse by Swami called Japa Sahita Dhyana, which is what Brother Dasan was saying. Without form, there is no name. Without name, there is no form. Yes. Both have to come together. So, Japa Sahita Dhyana, Swami says, with the chanting of the name, you do meditate on the form. But through that process, the mind is stilled and we go beyond that. We will be able to experience what is beyond that. And then I will stop here. That's, that's listening to all of you and also looking at what Swami has said. So I think the most easy path or the right path is to become a Jivan Mukta, which is what Swami wants us to. So we separate in the body and the mind. Body, mind from the Atman. Now we will come to what is tapas. Sister Shivani has asked. So I hope others have questions.
Uncle. Sorry, before we go to that question, can I just clarify? So from what I'm understanding from what you said, is that Nirguna Upasana actually means making ourselves Nirguna, like we ourselves have to be detached from the body and have no gunas in order to experience that Nirguna state. So even
Yes.
other religions that worship a formless God, they're still doing saguna worship because they're worshiping some sort of attribute of God, like love or something like that.
Very nice, Kalyan. That's exactly. I had not touched upon that. Yes, because sometimes people don't realize that they are also doing the saguna upasana. They may not have one form, but they definitely have attributes. Yes, you are right.
So it's not like a choice we make, like we all are in this saguna.
Exactly. And this is what Sister Ananti said, it is all our own understanding, whether it is saguna, nirguna, all that. Ultimately, we need to focus on the Lord. We ourselves should become detached to our body, which is what Sister Ananti had nicely distilled. I think that's my understanding also, yes. Kalyan, you okay?
Yes, thank you, Uncle. Thanks for clarifying.
See, Swami wants us to understand these things properly, so our sadhana becomes a bit more meaningful. And that's why, it is good that we all discuss so that next time when we pray, we really understand what is going beyond the form, what is going beyond the name. Just totally, everything is an aid so that we can focus on the Lord. And I think that is the most important thing. And usually gunas come into being because as long as we are human beings and we have needs, wants, we like to see something nice, we want to eat something tasty, then we want God also to come in those forms. So until we are attached, we will want this. But Swami says, go beyond that. Taste something much more sublime. Experience something more better. And I think that's where we are going. And we will. Tapas is necessary. So as Sister Shivani has asked, so I will discuss tapas.
Brother Sairam, sorry, before tapas. Okay, so now, so to remove the name and form, we have to. What is the final thing we are based on the discussion now we are coming to, please?
This is like Vidya Vidya Raman Kadha.
No. I just wanted to know, brother, because you're saying we have to go beyond the name, beyond the form. So to arrive that place, how we are coming to the end now, please? So internally, first we discussed that when you go inwardly, you will forget the form, and you see everything as one, then forget the name. The name is not there, kind of. That's how we are looking at it.
Just I will give an analogy which again Swami has given.
Sure, thank you.
So, you go somewhere and somebody brings a cup of tea. If you are drinking, usually drink tea, then you can use that as an example. So somebody brings a cup of tea. It is in a cup. So you look at the cup, and then you think it's a teacup. Okay, so that's a form, external form. Then you look inside and you see some color. It may smell something like that. All that. Ultimately, you have to drink it. Once you drink it, the tea has disappeared. Once the tea has disappeared, where did it disappear? Inside. Okay, that is experience.
Oh, in inward experience will take away the name and form.
Yes. Okay. So if you go to a restaurant, sister, yes, and if you want to order tea, you want to experience tea, you have to ask for tea. And they have to bring it in a cup. You can't sit there and say, I'm experiencing tea. You will never experience tea. Okay. So the name is needed. You ask for it, name. Then the form comes. Then you drink what is inside the cup.
Yes.
And experience.
Yeah. So experience.
And once you experience, it has disappeared. The form has disappeared.
And the name is disappeared.
Name also disappeared, or doesn't matter.
Yes. Now I got it clearly. Thank you.
Sairam.
And I think I got the answer of tapas too. It's not easy, brother, to live in this world.
Yeah. Yes, sister.
I'm just thinking one-pointedness, going from form to nigra. So it means I have to take another jump where I'm not just born just to do that part. not to do anything. Seriously, it's just, I thought it will be fine. I will be liberated at the end of this birth, but it looks like I have to go through a big tapas.
Yes.
I am serious. I mean, it's not easy. So I think that's tapas, constant reflection and changing every moment is tapas. I guess I'm just thinking.
It's not easy.
Yeah. I mean, how can somebody, do you think somebody can live a regular grasti in like, you have your family around and still get liberated? Is it possible?
It's not at all.
Is it possible?
It's up to you.
Auntie, it is possible.
It's up
Bhagawan has said.
It's up to you.
I mean, you have to do your due diligence. You born, you do what you born for, your duty, your dharma. And then here you're developing that love where, everything is in one point and you're just thinking of him. Can you be in this world while you are constantly in oneness with him? I don't know. I think that's a tapas for me now. While
that is tapas.
Yeah. Is it possible?
Yeah, I have a different meaning.
Brother Hasan has the answer. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I have a different meaning to tapas and meditation. Dhyana. Dhyana means you just name and one form. You just focusing on that one for the self-realization. Tapas, if you take Ravana, if he wants to gain something, until that he do the meditation, that is become a tapas. Even Arjuna, he wants to get a weapon from Lord Shiva. Until that he did that meditation, focus on something. That is, I think, tapas. Thank you, brother.
Saira, brother. Thank you. So, Brother Hasan has told what is his understanding of tapas. So, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just attempt. So, to Sister Shivani's question, will I get liberation? So, that sister, like, it is again the same thing, right? God, if you think you are God, you are dust. If you think you are dust, you are verily. Thoughts are things, as we think, so we become. I'm sure you know this. So I would say it first starts with the thing that with Swami's blessings, yes, I can kind of a thing. And there have been examples who have tread that path and who have attained liberation, which gives us a sense of hope that we are not all alone in this journey. There have been people who have walked this path and achieved that, and we speak of their stories to this day when we speak to children and so on. So they have inspired generations, which gives us a feel that yes, they have lived a householder life and they have got to that exalted state. So it is again the same thing. What we have been practicing, it's like I think till now it was like, oh, if you do karma phala tyagam and get to that point, you will ultimately get liberation. So every chapter, actually, you think you're kind of getting there. Like Swami said, one more thing. So till now we were holding on the Saguna, and Swami today said, okay, Saguna, bye bye, kind of a scenario.
Yes, yes.
So,
no hope.
So yeah, so it is. That's what I've realized. So like Swami, basically, if we see as he is leading us, he's expanding the whole vistas of our mind in terms of, so that to a point the mind vanishes. Like if you see, like every boundary we had, that boundary is also being removed, is being removed. So it's going on expanding. Like I think definitely what is beyond the mind cannot be comprehended by the mind, and that is where I think we are finding that difficulty, where again and again, because every time we are comprehending the formless, the limitless, and the absolute, again with a very tiny instrument with which we are measuring. So it's the size of the vessel I carry to the ocean. I get that much water, and I think that is the ocean, kind of thing. So so yeah, it is just letting go of that feeling and carrying the burden that I have to get salvation. The problem is, like, so the moment I do, so I'm sitting in the train or in the flight and I'm taking all the carry-on baggage and or the check-in baggage, whatever thing, and I'm still putting it on my lap and then holding on to it. I have to get. but I think it is, if you take that and just leave it on the thing, Swami, I will do what I can. You have given me this role to play in this drama. I will do my role of the squirrel. I will take a few sand grains. I will put it on your bridge. Now it is left to you to do the rest. So that whole thing also takes away the burden of, oh, tapas, oh, dhyanam and all that. I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm just saying that do that with the fact that, Swami, I can do only this much in my limited capability, but you are there. You will hold me and take me across. I have you. That part, I think if we leave that, then I think we will enjoy the flight also, or else it'll be like every few minutes, oh, am I having the baggage with me? Is there something in the baggage? I keep opening and checking and all of that, which will just take away the joy of the journey. So I'm just trying to put the onus back onto Swami. You take care of it. I have come to you. To the extent possible, again, Swami, I'm trying to surrender. Please help me surrender. Please make it complete. Please make my love whole. And all of that, and holding on, and then it is left to, like, it's like if the child holds on to the mother will obviously take care of the child. So if we hold on to Swami, it is his responsibility. Of course, he will do whatever, but we have to just keep holding.
So Manas Bhajare Guru Charanam.
Every time, as much as possible, going back to the.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Sairam Aunty, please go ahead.
The funny thing is, we are talking about going beyond name and form with the mind. With the mind only we have to get rid of. Only with the mind only we can get rid of the idea of norm and form. But we are using that mind again. Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayo. So the stage when we reach Amanaska, where there is no mind at all, as we go inside, we lose that form, name, and then even our mind also should be completely, it should be removed. Then only we can attain that stage of Nirguna Upasana. Saira.
Sairam Aunty, thank you very much. Anyone else? On tapas. So I think Brother Dasan said, it's like Ravana only did tapas. So maybe I will go. See, jhana, I think everyone is fine. So the mind is tied down, by thinking of something, so that it doesn't go here and there, as Auntie put. We'll try to reach a state of amanaska. That is, the mind is kept occupied with something, because the mind needs something to keep itself occupied. Otherwise, it'll just run around and cause trouble. And so that is the essential requirement. Then Swami says tapas. Generally, Swami has talked about this tapas. People think you have to stand upside down, or you have to stand in the water with one foot. You should not eat for some few months, and then maybe you should just breathe alone, and then you should stop breathing also. So these are general understanding of what is tapas, and I think if you watch a few good movies, they will show you how they are doing tapas. So this is our understanding of tapas. Swami basically says oneness of thought, word, and deed is tapas. So then what is this oneness in thought, word, and deed? Swami says usually to do anything bad, the thought, word, and deed come together very well. All total focus is there, but when something good, thought, word, and deed don't work together.
So true.
So they should come together to do what is the question. Swami says tapana is nothing but burning. It's burning. It's tapana. That means you're heating something, so that you actually roast yourself. So the thing is, the roasting is that tapana, that yearning or burning should be for the Lord. The yearning should be so intense that it will, we cannot bear the separation. It should just try us. So then that is what will reach us, take us to the Lord. So that will give us every day, every moment we'll think. I'm reminded of this saint called Nandanar Swami. Talks about a lot. I don't know how many of you know Nandanar. He was a low caste person who used to work in the farmland of Sampur. But he had this yearning that he should go to Chidambaram one day. So every day he will do the work, and then the employer was not giving him vacation to go and see. So every day he will go. Hopefully that day, he will get permission. He will work very hard, and he will say, tomorrow I will go. So because every day he will say, I will go tomorrow to Chidambaram. He was telling. So because of that, he was called Tirunalai Povar, means the one who goes tomorrow to God, something like that. Because the tomorrow never comes. But the thing is, he was totally one-pointed. I want to go and see Nataraja in Chidambaram. That was the only. So morning till evening, when he was doing his work, he was thinking, when will I go? When will I go? When will I go? So that was the yearning of that person. And when he went to the Lord, he just merged with the Lord. So Swami says he was not educated. He was from the lowest strata of the society. He didn't have money, no education, no knowledge, nothing. But this love and yearning for the Lord, with that he burnt every day. And that will burn all other desires. The loka vasanas, the moisture in the coconut will all vanish. And it will never be born again. So that is tapana. That is roasting of ourselves in the yearning for the Lord, which will generate so much heat, which will burn all vasanas, loka vasanas, which is what Swami is telling. We should nasinch. That's what Swami is saying. The loka vasana should be completely destroyed.
Destroyed.
So the tapas is burning with desire for the Lord, to reach the Lord. And Swami has spoken.
Thank you so much.
So even in your current samsara life,
I can do it.
Definitely.
Yes. So I'm okay with my goal to get liberated at the end of this birth.
Yes. Sure. Not at the end of the birth, sister. Death. No, you have to become a Jivan Mukta while being alive.
Become a Jivan Mukta.
That's what Swami is.
And sister, just a
Aapke muh mein ghee shakkar. In India, they said whatever you would say. Aapke muh mein ghee shakkar.
Yeah, and a request, sister. After you become that Jivan Mukta, please come and share the notes in this.
Yes.
We can
This study circle will help me to get that Jivan Mukta. I'm telling you. Bhagawan bless us all.
Yes, Uncle Gopalan, please go ahead.
Airam, just a humorous thought comes in my mind.
Yes.
This was about a famous movie actor. When he was young, he just beginning of being an actor. So he had to do a scene on the seashore doing tapas. And what happened was, hurricane also was coming at the same time. And all the things were flying away. And he had a difficult time sitting very close to the ocean and doing the tapas. He was narrating his experience on that. So just a humorous part.
Hope he did not himself fly away. In the first paragraph when we read, it is in Telugu. The Satyam, Swami says, this kind of a worship of the God with the attributes and form is, of course, it helps us, but this is not true. The Asatyam, he says.
Yes.
Swami means here, I understand like that. Here the same thing with when you are worshipping Saguna, a Lord with the attributes, we have our own attributes imposed on the particular day.
Yes.
Whatever we are thinking, we are imagining about our own gunas, we put that gunas on the idol and then we concentrate. Then how can we cross beyond that? That's the question.
Exactly, Auntie. Because the Lord is anyway good, attributeless. We put our attributes
We put
on
our own attributes on him.
and we pray to.
And we attribute it to him.
Yeah, we attribute it to him.
So, Sairam, brother.
Yes.
So,
Brother.
when we talk about the attribute, so what are the attributes we are thinking about? So, Lord has attributes, 6 attributes we studied.
What attributes, brother?
He has love, okay. He has kindness, and he has wealth. Wealth means, you know, no, not, yeah, he has the power.
You mean bank balance?
Detachment. He has the detachment. The wealth mean is a knowledge, you know. So he has a detachment. Those are the attributes. Yes. So we have to gain the attributes in order to get the love and God's quality. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. See, it's ultimately, I think we are studying Purusha Suktam. See, the attributes also belong to the Lord, but that's only 1/4 of his, whatever we see in this world is only 1/4. The Lord is 3/4 beyond all that. We cannot forget that 3/4 and think only this 1/4 is the Lord. So much of it is beyond our perception. Thank you. Are we good? I think we have nicely discussed this. Maybe we can move on, sisters. We don't have much time, but else we can read.
Do you want me to just read one paragraph or the entire?
It's one paragraph, is I think.
Yeah.
One paragraph, I guess.
The contemplation of the Godhead as above and beyond all attributes is necessary for the attainment of Jivan Mukti. If that is difficult and beyond your capacity, you can do another thing. Dedicate all worship, all adoration, all Vedic rituals, and other vows and vigils with all the fruits that may accrue to me. Take me as the ultimate goal, as the final aim which transforms all acts into worship. Fix your mind on me, meditate on me. I shall then shower my grace and take you across the ocean of change of samsara. I shall favor you with the goal you seek. Arjuna, it is not an easy task to fix your mind steadily on me. Not everyone can succeed in this. However long the practice, it is hard to keep the mind on me without deflecting it towards other things or ideas.
Thank you, sister. Maybe I will quickly read the Telugu. ఇట్టి స్థితిని పొందుటకు నిర్గుణోపాసన ద్వారా దేహాభిమానము వదలవలను.
ఇట్టి సంభవం ఇట్టి
స్థితిని పొందుటకు.
To attain this stage, dehabhimana, the identification with the body should be completely destroyed. That is Jivan Mukti. For the attainment.
Nirgunopasana dwara dehabhimanamu.
Through the Nirgunopasana, the dehabhimanam, that is the identification with the body, can be completely removed.
Atula kadeni సగుణోపాసకులు కూడను సమస్త వైదిక లౌకిక కర్మ ఫలములను నాయందు సమర్పించి.
Swami is giving the other path. If that is so difficult to concentrate upon Nirguna Upasana, Swami says, if it's beyond your capacity, dedicate all the worship and whatever we do to me, all the rituals, whatever you do, and other vows also to me. Yeah, to me, that's it, I think.
Nene parama gatiga upasana chesinacho.
If you meditate upon me as the ultimate goal, if you make me as the final goal,
Nanne dhyaninchinacho.
If you do dhyanam on me,
Chittamunu nayande unchinacho.
Keep your mind on me.
Atti vanini kudanu nenu anugrahintunu.
So here Swami is saying, I shall shower my grace on such people also. That means here it is actually it is not Sagunopasana. What you are doing is here to dedicate all the things, all worship, all adoration to Swami. And then there is no question of my doing or your doing. That question never arises. That Kartrutra Bhava should completely go away. The doership should go away. And then
Samsaram anedi samudramunu datintunu.
So I shall see that you will cross the ocean of this samsara.
Mokshamanu gamyamunu chertunu.
You will reach your final goal, moksha.
Bhava chittamunu nayande unchuta anta sulabhamaina panigadu.
Krishna himself admits it's not easy for people to keep their mind on me, their meditation on me.
Andariki idi sadhyamu kaadu.
This is not easy for everyone.
Enta abhyasamu chesinanu chittamunu nayandunchuta dussadhyamu.
Yeah, it is very, very difficult to keep your mind on me, however long you may practice. So Krishna is admitting that it is not a joke to concentrate our mind. But to dedicate our actions to the Lord, maybe, as we practice, we can do that. Dedicate it to the Lord. Swami is, it is his will that we can do it. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Auntie. So,
I mean, not translating word by word. I am giving my own.
No, you covered everything, Auntie. I don't know how much time we will have to discuss.
It is done.
About 4:28. But I think everyone can take home and think about this.
Yeah.
And come back so we can discuss next week, I would say, if everyone is okay. And if someone has something to say, please go ahead. We have 2 minutes. I think everyone has Chittamanu Nayande Unchinacho. Everyone has sort of
put the Chitta and Swami.
Chitta and Swami. So if you will close with Samastaloka and come back next week. I think there's so much we discussed. I think we have to go and digest and absorb. Saira. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Thank you so much.
Sai Ram.